Greetings, everyone. It is Saturday, September 15th, 2018. It is 11 o'clock a.m. And I just thought I'd do another little pen video to show you one of my latest acquisitions. It's actually very inexpensive. It's considered a beginner's pen, but I was intrigued by the filling mechanism and by the fact that it's kind of a quirky little pen and by the fact that I collect the brand. Anyway, so I just got my latest JetPens order. First, I wanted to show you these absolutely adorable bottles of ink. This is by the brand G. Herbin, which is a French brand that has been in production pretty much almost continuously, I think, for like 300 years. It was the first brand of bottled ink I ever bought, the very first bottle of ink I ever bought, back probably 8 or 9 years ago, I would say, was G. Herbin's Violette Pensée, which is Pansy Violet. And then I followed that up very quickly by a bottle of Lierre Sauvage, which is Savage Ivy. Is purple and green are two of my favorite colors. So, you know, I kind of have a soft spot in my heart for the G. Herbin inks. They are very pretty. They're very easy to clean. That was why because I figured if I was going to start using bottled ink, I wanted to use something that was easy to clean out of my pens. It was easy to clean up if I made a mess, which thankfully I've never made a drastic mess with a bottle of fountain pen ink, but you never know. So G. Herbin is a great ink to start with. They've got a lot of colors. The only thing people knock G. Herbin about is that the bottle is not conducive to filling larger fountain pens because the neck of the bottle is not very big. So that's the only knock people have. And even for me, it's not that big a deal because I can decant the ink into it. I have an ink well if I want to fill one of my bigger pens with G. Herbin. So, you know, for me, that's a non-issue, but that's, you know, the one knock that people have against the brand of ink. And this year they've come out with a bunch of new colors, and this one is called Bleu de Profondeur, profound blue, I guess. I bought this one because the ink sample I saw online looked like it was like a blurple, and I really think it is. And people who know me, who've ever received a letter from me, know that blurple is one of my favorite shades of blurple, like the bluish purple. I like the purple that trends toward the blue side of purple, not the red side. The reddish purples are the ones that are more like the wine colors and whatnot, and those are not my favorite shades of purple. I like the bluish purples. So this one is profound blue, 10 milliliter bottle. They just started putting out these little bottles a couple of years ago. Used to be that they had like the 30 milliliter bottles, which, you know, if you know there's a color you like and you're going to use it a lot, then the bigger bottle is great. But if there's a color you want to try and you want more than what you get in like a pen store sample tube, which is only about like 2 milliliters, these are a nice way to buy these inks. I honestly wish more ink companies would make these smaller bottles. And then I also got the Rouge Granat, which is garnet red, which I have to say, I like the more like earth tone reds. Oh yeah, this is definitely going to be a good one. Garnet is always a little more toward like the brownish, you know, like when I did my last video, my last floss tube video, and I showed you the fabric that was the maroon, and I told you that it kind of had bled out into some browns. I like the brownish reds more. I use Diamine Oxblood, Diamine Red Dragon, you know, and I actually bought a bottle of Pelikan's Edelstein Ruby. Edelstein is the German word for birthstone. And I thought it would be a pretty color, but I forgot that rubies are pink. It's the garnets that are the brownish red. I should have known that. When I was a kid, I had a garnet ring that belonged to my great-grandmother, and it was not a pink red. It was like a brown red. So I should have realized I wasn't going to like the Edelstein Ruby, but this red, if I really like this one, I'll probably get a bigger bottle of it. So I have a feeling both of these inks are going to be ones that I buy bigger bottles of in the future. But I like having the small bottles to test, to see what the color looks like. So now I know you're all wondering about this pen that I've mentioned is quirky and very different from pretty much any other pen out there on the market. Now, for those of you who do know a little bit about fountain pens, you'll recognize the icon here. This is a TWSBI, T-W-I-S-B-I. It is a South Korean pen company, I believe, if I remember correctly. I believe it's a Korean pen company. I have several of their pens already in my collection. I have the TWSBI Eco and the TWSBI Diamond 580 in the red, white, and blue colorway they did with the American flag and the finial on the end cap. Those pens are only about $50, which in the realm of fountain pens, I know in the realm of pens in general, that probably sounds like, oh my God, $50 on a pen. Why, why is your writing hand worth $10 a finger? But in the realm of fountain pens, that's a very affordable pen. And they decided this year they were going to do something really radical and create a pen that could be a good beginner's pen for $20. And it's called the TWSBI Go, and it's right here in this package. Now, the thing I like about this, as opposed to some of the other TWSBI packaging, is the other TWSBI packaging that comes in like this plastic clamshell box, and that's because it has a wrench, because technically you can take a TWSBI apart and put it back together again, but I never have, because why? You don't need to take a pen apart to clean it out. If you did, I wouldn't own any pens because I wouldn't trust myself to put them back together the right way. But this pen is not, you can take this pen apart, but you don't need a wrench and silicone grease and all that because it's not a piston filler. So the packaging is very minimal, which I like. It's just this little cardboard sleeve here that you can recycle. And then let me see, do I have a, I didn't realize this was taped on the side. This is like when your mother tortures you at Christmas when you're a kid by sticking tape on like every corner of every box at Christmas. I mean, I understand now as an adult why parents do that, because you slow the kids' roll, or the kid's going to have all the packages open in 5 minutes, and then Christmas, you want to slow your kids down, but still, as a kid, I used to get annoyed with all the tape all over the... So, this is the pen. Now, I have to admit, I like this pen. I think this is, however, going to be a very polarizing pen for the TWSBI manufacturer, only because I think it's going to be one of those that you either love or you hate. Personally, I think it's cool, but I like pens that are different. I think the most boring pens on earth, unless you're buying the limited editions, which are so cost prohibitive it isn't even funny, is the Montblanc 149. Now, I know that if there are pen people out there who watch this video who like Montblancs, they're going to be like, what's wrong with you? That's blasphemy. Well, it's a solid black barrel. Yes, it has a very nice 14 karat gold nib, but if I'm going to be paying the prices I'm going to pay for a Montblanc, then I want a little flash and substance. So needless to say, I don't have but one black pen in my entire collection. I would never be a member of the Black Pen Society, let's put it that way. So, you get your little TWSBI booklet, and it shows you, it's a Korean company, so they have to do the little pictogram to show you how to fill it. Well, this is a unique filler. And I got the stub nib because I like broad nibs, and I like stub nibs to give me that kind of slant that looks like I'm writing in calligraphy. Well, how do you fill a pen like this? There are vintage pens that use plungers to fill the pen, but I have never seen this sort of mechanism in a modern one. Now, I think a lot of people probably think this pen looks tacky, but you have to remember it's a $20 pen and it's meant for beginners. And I just think it's kind of cool. It's different. So what you do is, say, for instance, if I wanted to, maybe I should try to show you here. Although I have a feeling if I try to show you, I'm going to spill it all over myself. It's a plunger system. Well, you know what? What color do I want to try first? I've already got some blue ink in some of my other pens. I'll try the garnet red. So, for instance, with this pen, most pens that have cartridge converters are pistons. You have to, screw the piston down and then pull it back out and all that. But this is a simple plunger mechanism. Let me actually go grab my cleaning cloth so that I can wipe the excess ink off. I should have probably thought about that before I sat down. But then again, I didn't think I was going to be showing you how to fill this pen on camera. So this is one of my old washcloths. And this has been through the wash several times, and that's as clean as it's ever going to get. But you can see all the different kinds of inks. This one up here, this red, is actually the truest red I own, which is called the Ackerman Chinatown red, which is a very bright, like I guess you would call fire engine red. And this one is the one, this one is ox blood. That one actually does look like dried blood. When you, this is probably the truest blue ink I have that isn't a blurple. It's from a Japanese manufacturer, and it's called Hatsukoi, which I think I saw a video the other day where someone said it means like first love or something, but it's a very sapphire blue. I, at this point, have way more inks than I do pens, which is a good thing because I probably got too many pens anyway. All right, so the concept is simple. Put the nib in the ink, plunge it down, and then it'll fill up. So here we go. Put the nib in the ink. Oh, damn it. Yes, I did just spill it all over me. Well, you know what? Red ink will wash off my leg. I didn't get it on anything else. I just now look like somebody tried to stab me, but you know what? I'll go take a shower after this. The nice thing, like I said about Giordano inks, is that they wash off very, very quickly. Although I did get ink on my shoes. I did not think this through, folks. Actually, okay. If that's the worst thing I do today is get ink on my foot and on my shoe, I can use, I've got Amadex, which is, oh my God, I look like somebody tried to cut my foot off with a hacksaw. That is not going to end well. I should have known that this bottle was more full than, oh well, you know what, folks, you can see how red that is. This will be a bottle I'll buy more of in the future. Let me just pause for a moment and clean myself up so I don't look like a bloody crime scene victim, and I'll be right back. Well, that was interesting, wasn't it? Oh my God, seriously, people. I look like I tried to amputate my foot with a rusty grapefruit spoon. But at least I know that I like the color. I'm going to have to put some Amadex on my little slippers and run them through the wash, but at least they weren't anything fancy. They were like $20 shoes I bought off the rack at Famous Footwear for $10 on clearance. They weren't going to make it through the summer anyway, the way I've worn them, so... But seriously, at least I know now I like the color, and I'm going to buy a bigger bottle of it whenever I use my little sample dealio, which, given how I just did there, might be sooner rather than later. So whenever I fill a pen, regardless of whether or not I make a mess, I always write the same thing just to make sure that the ink is flowing and that the nib is fine. I always write, does this pen write? And as you can see there, I do have the 1.1 millimeter stub. It writes really well on this cheap copy paper. You know, there's no feathering or anything. It's a really nice, I wouldn't call this a maroon ink, but it's garnet. It's not a really, it's an earth tone, a jewel tone. And I do love jewel tones in my colors. I tend to prefer jewel tones over like just really bright, like in your face colors, but the jewel tones, like, I like all the colors you see when you go to the jewelry store and you just look at all the beautiful. So anyway, you know, this is an interesting filling system. It does allow for a lot of ink, and I think it would be very good for someone who's new to fountain pens and or bottled inks, because unless you're like me, it's fairly mess proof. It does hold a lot of ink, so you're not constantly having to change out your ink. I do know that some people, when they get started with fountain pens, they just don't like all the fussiness. They think they're too fussy, have to be cleaned out too much. And this would allow you to go longer without having to clean it. Snap cap, which is nice because you know you've got that seal and your pen's not going to leak. It does have a little doohickey for a lanyard if you were going to put this on a, where did it go? There it is. Can you see it now? Yeah, light was shining straight through it. If you wanted to put it on a lanyard around your neck, me, I'm not into that kind of thing. But, you know, if you were, you could. I have always tended to like pins that are unique in some fashion or another. The only other really polarizing pen I've got in my collection is a Sheaffer Tyrannus, which was the Sheaffer's attempt at a hooded nib. And my friend Brian, who owns the pen store in Wisconsin, thinks it's one of the most hideous. He thinks the nib's too undersized, and it does have Sheaffer written across the section. So I can see why people would think it was ticky-tacky, but it's just kind of right up my alley because, quite frankly, when I was a kid and we'd go on vacation, I would always bring home like one novelty pen from some tourist place. And I even still have this one from when I wasn't a kid, when I was in my early 20s and I went to Disney World. Brought this one back from Orlando. You know, this kind of, and I use it. You know, I used to use it anyway. It's probably dried up now. But, you know, this kind of ticky-tacky stuff was always fun for me because I would be the only one who would have the palm tree pen, you know, stuff like that. So, you know, I think it makes sense for someone like me to like this pen because it's quirky, it's different, but I think it's going to be very polarizing. I think the pen community is either going to love it or hate it. People in the established pen community who've been using pens for a long time. Personally, you know, my little writing sample proves that it's a great writer. And that's all that a pen really needs to be. I mean, I have to be honest, and this is probably a very polarizing comment. I think the most boring pens in the world are the Montblanc 149 Meisterstück, you know, which, and Meisterstück in German means masterpiece. But there are so many people out there who worship at the altar of Montblanc, you know. So each to his own, right? I happen to kind of like the quirky pens that are a little bit different, that'll get you noticed when you're writing with them. Something, I like the different, I really like this filling system. If there was a way to make it a little more refined, you could use it in more upscale pens that don't just cost 20 bucks. The plunger system is actually an old school vintage filling system. Let me see. This pen I have has not worked in forever. This is a vintage Parker, which is gorgeous. I love it's a gorgeous gold nibbed Parker. But for some reason I've never been able to get this refurbished. But as you can see, this is a plunger mechanism as well. So the plunger mechanism is not anything new in the fountain pen world. It's just in a beginner's fountain pen it's new. So, you know, so I guess it's true there's nothing new under the sun, but I would love to see this kind of mechanism. And I know that the Edison Pen Company, Brian Gray's company, with his handmade pens, I know he has a plunger mechanism that you can have as a filling system in a pen if you have him custom make a pen for you. I've only ever had his piston fillers, but you know, I really like the idea of a plunger filler to get it as full of fill as you can. So I think that this pen, yeah, I like it. I'm definitely, hey, it writes well. It goes along with the other TWSBIs I've got as far as writing well and being a good little writer. This is something I feel like I could just throw in my bag and not have to keep it in a pen case, not have to worry about it getting scuffed or scratched or dinged, or, you know. And the nib itself is a great nib. So, you know, it ticks all my boxes. And at 20 bucks, if you have this in your bag and you left it somewhere or you lost it somehow, it's not going to be the kind of pen that you freak out over losing. It wouldn't be like if I lost my Visconti Homo sapiens Opera, my Homo sapiens Crimson Tide. I would freak out about that. I would totally, completely freak out if I lost that pen. This pen, not so much. If I lost it somewhere along the way, I could always get a replacement, not too expensive. So yeah, I really like this pen. But now I have to go take a shower. See, did you ever think you would watch a video with someone who has to shower after she inks a fountain pen? Well, if you knew me in my personal life, you'd probably say that made perfect sense. But at any rate, at least I'm glad it's Giordano and it's easy to clean up. I'm going to go take a shower now. Hopefully this little video helped you decide if you like the TWSBI Go or if you would rather pass on it until something different comes along. For those of you who might be new to fountain pens, I hope I've inspired you to maybe give it a try. And until my next pen video, which is probably going to be a while because I don't have any pen purchases on the horizon pretty much for the rest of the year. Until then, I wish you happy writing and happy life, and I'll talk to you soon.